त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका कुंडलिनी साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माता जी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माता जी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री सहस्रार स्वामिनी मोक्ष प्रदायिनी माता जी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः।
Hello, good evening. Welcome everyone to Sahaja Yoga meditation. I am Leah, and we also have Tyrone joining us tonight. And hi Tyrone, welcome.
Hey Leah.
So yesterday's topic was Totalist State, and that was presented by Path and Chris. Today we'll be talking about feeling vibrations on our hands, what we feel, if it's warm or cool, and we'll go through that in more details. And tomorrow's topic will be affirmations. So what do you feel, Tyrone? Shall we all start our meditation by raising our Kundalini and taking Bandha?
It's a great idea.
Okay, let's do it all together. Viewers, everyone. Remember, left hand inside the right hand, and like we're enveloping it, we look up and we tie one symbolic knot. Then we do it again with full attention on the palm of the left hand, raising it slowly. As we reach the top, we look up and tie two knots. And then we do it the third time. And we can already feel these vibrations, more strands of Kundalini coming up beyond the mind. And we tie three knots. Feeling this love, this Mother Kundalini inside of us, nurturing us. We then do this symbolic gesture of slight physical exercise, requesting from our Mother Kundalini the protection, our band of protection. So left hand on the hip, right hand scooping up the energy, bringing it all the way above the head, all the way to the right hip, and then back again. And that's one time. And we do this 7 times. And then when we finish, both hands are together on the left side. We bring it to the center of the chest as a gesture of namaste. In plain English, saying the divinity within us greets the divinity within you. So welcome. And as we mentioned over the last 3 days, all we need to do to meditate is just have a nice little quiet space, have a photograph of Sri Mataji on a frame, have a candle if you like, because the candle represents the light of the spirit. And then we do this exercise, which we just did, which is called raising the Kundalini and putting on a band of protection. Once we do that, we can simply just sit and go quiet within ourselves. If you prefer, you can have a little bit of soft music. Some people like to have an incense. Meditation is very unique and is very individual for each person. So you work out what you like. The main thing is to have a quiet space, and always remember to raise the Kundalini, put the band of protection to start and to end the meditation. And but anyway, we've been learning that for the last 4 days, and we'll be learning that through the whole series of 21 days. Now, would like to invite Tyrone to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you find meditation.
I'm an engineer living here in Perth, WA, with my family, daughter and a wife. And I've been meditating for a bit over 20 years and teaching a few years less than that. And I'm really looking forward to sharing some of that experience with you today and over the course. Thoughtless awareness, as you guys were discussing yesterday, brought me a lot of balance and peace. And I think that really nicely also segues into today's subject of feeling the vibrations or vibrational awareness. Like we have those two kinds of awareness that help us on our journey. Because sometimes when we're trying to learn to meditate, we want to have that peace. But we don't really know why we can't experience that peace. And that's where the vibrational awareness comes in, to see, well, what are my personal obstacles? So that's something that Richard's going to be talking more about today.
Shall we bring Richard in?
Yeah.
Welcome, Richard. Richard might not have his camera. Oh, there he is.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Richard.
Hi, Leah. Hi, Tyrone.
Hey.
Hi.
It's great to be here in the
Wonderful
presenter's chair tonight.
Yes.
So Tyrone's in the hot seat as the host, and I've switched out and I'm kicking back and presenting. Although, as we always say, we're all kind of in this together. So it's really just we swap and change. And anyway, it's lovely to be here again.
Beautiful. It's lovely to have you with us, and it's so so good to be here every night our time. Of course, we're in Perth. Other people in Europe may be in the middle of the day, but whatever wherever you are and whatever time it is, this is a perfect time to be together. So Richard, would you like to tell us a little bit more about what you're bringing for us today?
Yeah, well, as you guys were saying, tonight's topic is feeling vibrations. And it's interesting because, thoughtless awareness, as we covered last night, feeling vibrations, really, as we go through life as realized souls, having discovered Sahaja Yoga, having raised our Kundalini, whether you've been doing this for a few days or a few months or a few years or many years, it's really about the basics and establishing the basics. So even over the last few days, people may have felt the vibrations, the cool breeze on the palm of the hand, for example, or the cool breeze above the top of the head. this is how our Kundalini, this nurturing feminine energy, manifests. It manifests as a cool breeze, and it's been known about for thousands of years in different cultures, although not very widely. And I guess the difference today is that this self-realization is available en masse to anybody who desires it. And that really is the legacy of Srimataji Nirmala Devi, who's the founder of Sahaja Yoga, whose photograph we use, whose talks we listen to and watch, that she was able to find a way to make self-realization, true meditation, thoughtless awareness, and feeling the vibrations accessible to anybody and very easily. So once we've done it, then it's really a case of just establishing it through regular practice. So tonight, I'd just like to really recap on what I've been doing for the last few days and just focusing on this element of vibrations and emphasizing that meditation is not mental. When we raise our Kundalini takes us up beyond the level of the mind and connects us with this all-pervading power. And in fact, the word yoga refers to that very connection. So if you look at the chart there, you'll see that, again, we have this central channel that starts from the sacrum bone at the base of the spine, and just reminding you that this figure is facing towards us. So the blue line on the left there originates from the bottom chakra, and the yellow line on the right side of the body originates from the second chakra. And in between the first and second chakra there, we have the Kundalini, which is in the sacrum bone. It's a dormant, nurturing, feminine energy. And when we remove all the obstacles that build up in our energy centers above, then this energy can start to flow. It wants to flow. That's its nature. It wants to balance us. It wants to clear us. It wants us to feel reality on our central nervous system. And when we feel the vibrations on our hands, above our head, then that's the reality. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. Before we go away from the chart, though, you can see on the chart there that we've got, let's wait for the chart to come back. There we go. What you can see is on the hands, each of the fingers there is color-coded. So we have 5 fingers. We also have the heel of the hand and the center of the palm. So those 7 locations each correspond to the 7 energy centers. From bottom, the first one being innocence, then creativity coming up. We can see peace, love and compassion, collectivity, forgiveness, and then at the top of the head, the quality of that center is integration. So these are the main qualities of these centers. And we have this amazing map, really, where we can see what we feel on our hands, and we'll do this tonight. We'll see what we feel on our hands and relate that to our subtle system. So, for example, you can see that the index finger on the hands is blue. And then we look at the energy centers, and we'll see that the one in the area of our throat is blue. So the index finger corresponds to the energy center, which is between our shoulders and our face, really. So around that area. Energy centers traditionally referred to as chakras. Chakra is a Sanskrit word. It simply means wheel. So these energy centers actually spin, and energy needs to flow. The chakras spin, the Kundalini wants to flow upwards, And the problems occur when there is a blockage, when things don't move, when the chakras don't turn. So what we do when we go through our guided meditation, for example, and all the techniques that we use are really just designed to remove the blockages, the obstacles, the catches to the free flowing movement of this energy. So let's now go through a guided meditation where we're going to be putting our right hand onto these various energy centers, as those of you who have joined us before will have done. And we're going to start by putting our right hand onto the heart. So if you just mirror what I'm doing there, yeah, that's it. So we're putting our right hand onto the heart to begin with. And then we're going to be putting our hand onto the abdomen, so just below the ribs, on the left-hand side of the body, the right hand going across onto the left-hand side of the body. Then, and we'll go through this with our eyes closed. I'm just going through now just to remind you what to do. Then we put our fingers into where the left leg joins the body. This is the second energy center. And we're going to press in towards the hip joint there on the left-hand side. Then the hand will come back to the abdomen, just below the ribs, then back up to the heart on the left side of the chest. Then we're going to be putting our hand onto the left side of the neck, so between the neck and the left shoulder, giving it a squeeze. The fingers go around the back a little bit. And we can turn our head to the right, just to stretch this area here a little bit. And then from there, we come up to the sixth center, which is on the forehead. So we can put our hand on the forehead like this. And then onto the back of the head, and we'll be leaning back slightly. Then finally, we're stretching our fingers and pressing with the palm of our hand onto the fontanelle bone. This is the name that's been given to this bone by medical science, and it happens to mean fountain. So very appropriate, because this is the area where the Kundalini comes through like a fountain and integrates us, connects us to this all-pervading power. So let's sit comfortably now, our feet on the floor. If you're sitting on a chair, for meditation, we sit with our hands palm upwards on our lap. So open ourselves up to receive our self-realization. We start by putting our right hand onto the heart. So the right hand across onto the left side of the chest. And in our hearts resides the spirit. So we're going to ask this nurturing feminine energy that we all have within us. It's like our own divine mother within us. And just as a child would ask its mother, we say here silently to ourselves, Mother, am I the spirit? And we can say that 3 times without any expectation, just open-heartedly, Mother, am I the spirit? Lovely. And so then we bring the hand down to the abdomen. Right hand on the left side of the abdomen, just below the ribs, pressing firmly. And here we ask another question. This time we say, Mother, am I my own master? Mother, am I my own master? And again, we can say that quietly to ourselves, say 3 times or thereabouts. The number's not important. It's just one less thing to think about. From there, we press the fingers of the right hand where the left leg joins the body. So towards the hip joint, right at the base of our trunk. And here we express our desire for pure knowledge, whatever that may be. So we simply say here, Mother, please give me the pure knowledge. We can say this 6 times because this second energy center has got 6 aspects or elements. So around about 6 times, Mother, please give me the pure knowledge. We can also say, Mother, please give me vibrational awareness. Especially if you've done this before a few times. Mother, please give me vibrational awareness. And when we do this, our pure desire is all it takes for this Kundalini to start to stir and rise upwards. It's made up of many, many, many strands. So initially it might be just a few strands, but it starts to rise up in response to our pure desire through a central channel within us. And we're going to do what we can from the outside now, just to help clear the way. So let's bring our hand now back up to the abdomen on the left side, pressing just below the ribs with our right hand. And this area here, this energy center, this chakra, is the center of our self-mastery. So what we do here, we very simply affirm that, Mother, I am my own master. I am my own master. And we can repeat this 10 times because this center has got 10 valencies or aspects or elements or petals. So we're saying that, Mother, I am my own teacher, my own guru, my own boss. My own leader. We can be guided, but ultimately we have the capacity to be our own master, built within us. Just say, Mother, I am my own master. This is a fact. We just have to affirm it. So when you've repeated that a few times, we can bring the hand up now to the heart once more. And we're going to affirm here that, Mother, I am the Spirit. I am the Spirit. So we have a body, we have thoughts, we have emotions, but in essence, we're not these things because these things come and go. They're transient. But the eternal essence of each one of us is the Spirit. That never changes. So we affirm here 12 times or thereabouts that, Mother, I am the Spirit. It's a fact. This is what we are. So we just have to get in touch with our true self. When done that, we can bring the hand now to the left, where the left shoulder and the neck meet. So fingers go around the back. And we're just going to squeeze in between the left shoulder and the neck there, while we turn the head a little to the right. And this energy center is very complex. It has 16 elements to it, and there's lots of things that can cause a problem at this level. But it turns out that the basis of all the potential problems here is when we feel guilty. So the idea that we're guilty is itself a myth. Guilt is a legal concept. Making mistakes doesn't make us guilty. It's how we learn. It's how we evolve. So we don't need to think about it too much. But just now what we're going to do is see what happens when we let go of any feelings of guilt by simply saying, Mother, I'm not guilty. Mother, I'm not guilty. And we can say this 16 times, just repeating it to ourselves over and over. Mother, I'm not guilty. I'm the Spirit. Mother, I am not guilty. Now, when you're ready, we can bring the hand onto the forehead. So we're coming up now to the 6th energy center. And this center is the center of forgiveness. And not surprisingly, it gets blocked when we don't forgive. So what we're going to do here is very simple. We're just going to tip the head forward slightly, and in our heart, without thinking about it, we're just going to say a few times, Mother, I forgive. I forgive everyone, and I forgive myself for everything. We're not making any judgments. We're not discerning right from wrong. We're just in our heart, letting go by simply saying, I forgive. Because whether we do or we don't do anything. But if we don't forgive, we're going to be blocked up and we can't get our self-realization. So we just say 2 or 3 times, Mother, I forgive everyone, including myself, for everything. Then we're going to put our hand on the back of our head. So same energy center, but just the opposite aspect. And we can keep our eyes closed, but we're going to lean back now. So we face upwards. And this time we're going to address not our Kundalini, but this all-pervading power that sustains us, that's created us, that is the ocean of love and the ocean of forgiveness. So we don't actually have to ask for forgiveness. We are constantly being forgiven. But just for our own satisfaction and to help open up this center, we can say, O divine power, I've made any mistakes, knowingly or unknowingly, please forgive me. Again, from our heart, without thinking about it, and just 2 or 3 times. O divine power, if I've made any mistakes, whatever, please forgive me. Knowing full well that we are forgiven. And then we're going to press down with our right hand on the top of the head. We can tip the head forward slightly once more. And we're going to press down, and while we do this, we're going to slowly move the scalp in a clockwise direction. So if you can keep your eyes closed, that's great. If you need to have a look, you can have a look. Just pressing and slowly moving the scalp around in a clockwise direction. And here we say once more, Mother, please give me my self-realization. Mother, please give me my self-realization. And we do this 7 times or thereabouts. We have these 7 energy centers within us. Mother, please give me my self-realization. And then in your own time, when you've done that, bring the right hand down. And we'll just sit for a minute with both hands, palm upwards on our lap. But leave the attention there at the top of the head. And allow yourself to be free of any thoughts. The Kundalini will clear away thoughts of the past and of the future. But we can just choose to let them go. And when you're ready, we can slowly open our eyes. And we're going to bring our right hand now above our head, not touching the head, but above the head. And see what you feel on the palm of the hand there. Can you feel like a coolness, like a very gentle, cool breeze on the palm of the hand and coming up between the fingers? Move it around. Might find it's clearer in a certain position. If you don't feel cool, or you're not sure, or you may even feel warmth on the hand, that's fine. We'll explain what it all means. But just make a note what you feel on your right hand. When you're ready, bring the hand down, and we're going to do the same with the left hand. So we're going to stretch the fingers, and the hand should not be too close to the head. It should be at least 10 or 20 centimeters, 6 to 12 inches above the head. Tip the head forward. Now, make a note, what do you feel on the left hand? Is it cool? Is one hand cooler than the other? And again, make a note, just what you feel on the left hand. And then we can bring the hand back down. And we'll just sit for a minute with both hands palm upwards on our lap. And just be aware now what you feel on the hands while they're on the lap. Maybe they're generally cool and light, but maybe there's a particular finger or fingers where there's a bit of pressure or heat or tingling. So we start to become aware of what we feel, because it's not about what we think, it's about what we feel. Not in this emotional sense, but literally what we feel on our central nervous system. That's the reality. All the rest is really just thoughts and their manifestations. Also be aware of what you feel on the feet, because the feet, toes, they also reflect what the state of our subtle system is. And that's why it's called a subtle system, because the experience of meditation is very subtle. And as we become more subtle, become more aware of ourselves. And that subtlety is actually very powerful. The effects are very profound and very powerful. So now I'd like to just continue in this meditative state while we watch a talk from Srimataji, part of a talk. This is an introductory talk Srimataji gave in Sydney Australia back in 1990. And if you don't follow some of the terminology, that's fine, but we can just enjoy the vibrations while we listen to her talk. And then after we've watched Srimataji's talk for about 8 minutes or so, we're thrilled really to have Lorenzo with us tonight to provide some live music. And we're going to meet Lorenzo afterwards. But straight after Srimataji's talk, Lorenzo will be playing a piece on the harpsichord, which I'm sure he'll tell us a little bit more about later. And the piece that he's chosen for tonight is just going to help to sustain us in this lovely meditative state of thoughtless awareness and enjoying the vibrations. So now we'll go to Srimataji's talk and then we'll listen to the music.
You have to know that truth is what it is. We cannot conceptualize it with our human awareness. We cannot order it. We cannot manipulate it. We cannot organize it. It is what it is, has been and will be. And what is the truth? Truth is that we are surrounded, or we are penetrated, or we are nourished, looked after and loved by a very subtle energy, which is the energy of divine love. The second truth is that we are not this body, this mind, these conditionings, this ego, but we are the spirit. You don't have to accept what I am saying blindly, because blind faith leads to fanaticism. But as scientists, you must keep your mind open and see for yourself what I am saying. If it is so, honestly, you must accept it. We know so much through science about our civilization, our advancement. This is the advancement of a tree which has grown outside very much. But if we do not know our roots, we will be destroyed. So it is important to know about our roots. And this is what it is that I would say are our roots. As you can see, there are 7 centers within us. And these subtle centers are placed in the spinal cord and in the brain. These cater to our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual needs. On the physical side, they manifest the energy for the use of our plexuses, which look after our physical problems. That is on the right side. The energy which is supplied by this yellow line, a subtle channel, we call it as the Pingala Nadi. This supplies energy for our physical and mental actions. So this is the power of action within us, which also caters to the right sympathetic nervous system. The another channel you see on the left hand side is the channel by which we desire, put our energy to our desire. So this is the power of desire and looks after our emotions. This is the one which looks after our conditionings also. At the end of these two channels, they create two institutions. One on the right side crosses over, and the yellow balloon that you see is the ego, is the balloon of ego that we have. And the left-hand side one, which conditions our mind, is the balloon of superego. As we start growing in age, by the time we are 12 years of age, these two completely meet and the soft bone in our head becomes completely calcified. Now there's third energy within us, which is in the center. And this central energy is the one which has made us human beings. And these centers are the milestones of our evolution. So now the last jumping is left out. It has reached up to the limbic area. Now, only thing is it has to break through the soft bone on the head and break through that, which is the actualization of baptism. Baptism is not an artificial thing. It is an actualization. But the energy that does it is, we call it sleeping energy, in the triangular bone called as sacrum. That means the Greeks knew that this is a sacred bone, that they called it sacrum. This energy has to rise and break through that fontanelle bone area and connect us to that subtle divine power which we have never felt during human awareness. Thus, we get connected to this divine power and we start feeling it on our fingertips. It's described in the Quran that at the time of resurrection, your hands will speak and they will give witness against you. That is, you start feeling your own centers. These are 5, 6 and 7 centers, and they indicate what's wrong with you within yourself. What's the problem? Also, you can feel the cool breeze coming out of your head. Cool breeze of the Holy Ghost. Because this sleeping power, which is called as the Kundalini, Kundala means coils, is the power of pure desire.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back after this lovely meditation. Sounds like we had a little bit of technical issues. Lorenzo did start playing the music, but we couldn't hear it. So any minute now, when these sound issues are fixed, we'll be back with beautiful meditation music. So in the meantime, just rehashing. Oh, there's Lorenzo. So hopefully we have.
Hello, everybody. So sorry about that. Lorenzo is ready to go now.
Okay. Wonderful. Welcome, Lorenzo.
Have to unmute him.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Lorenzo.
Thank you, Lorenzo. We're just going to now sit for a few minutes and in silence, because music can help us to enter this meditative state. So we're just going to bring up a photograph of Sri Mataji, because that's another thing that we commonly use to help sustain our meditation. And just let the attention rest above your head, hands open, palm upwards on the lap, just for 2 or 3 minutes. sometimes when we're all together like this, thoughtless awareness comes very easily, and we have the right conditions, beautiful music to help us. At other times, you can be in a situation at work or at home where at the end of the day, or even in the morning, the thoughts are much persistent. And this is where the photograph of Sri Mataji can come in very helpful. And we can open our eyes and just look at the red spot bindi on Sri Mataji's forehead without thinking, and can be incredibly helpful. Just clear that chakra and allow us to stay in thoughtless awareness. So once again, thank you very much, Lorenzo, for that beautiful piece there. Lorenzo's joining us now as we have a little chat, just compare what we've experienced. But I'll just invite Lorenzo to say hello. And we had a bit of a problem with the modern technology there, but the traditional technology in the form of the harpsichord never fails.
Work the beauty.
So Lorenzo, for those of us who maybe don't know, can you just tell us a little bit about the instrument that you're playing there, and perhaps just a little bit about the piece that you played?
Sure. So this is called a harpsichord. It's, I mean, in simple terms, it's the ancestor to the piano. So before the piano was invented, this beast existed for, it was the main keyboard instrument of the 16th, 17th, and 18th centuries. It's got a keys, just like a piano. You can't see the keyboard from this angle, but there's a bit of a difference in the mechanism, so the action. A harpsichord is, so a piano, you have hammers which hit strings, whereas on a harpsichord, you have little plectra which pluck the string. So basically, the sound production is more similar to a guitar or a harp than a piano. So that's why it has quite a different sound. The piece I played, so as Richard said, it was a piece by Danglebert, French composer from the 17th century. Quite an important composer, a prominent composer, and fairly influential. He composed mostly music for the harpsichord, and this particular piece is it's a prelude. It's known as an unmeasured prelude. So basically, it's just pictures on the page, but no rhythmic notation. So there's no rhythm there. So it's up to the performer to decipher the blobs on the page and to make music out of it. So that's what gives it that very free, almost like an improvisation, and that's what it's supposed to do. So I thought that was probably a good choice for just to help establish that meditative mood.
Thank you, Lorenzo. That was absolutely beautiful. And I'm sure there must be at least a few musicians amongst us. I know there are a few musicians amongst us, but even out there, people who have maybe just joined us recently, that will have been very interested to know the background there. I'm sure the MCs must have some questions as well, but I just wanted to ask you, Lorenzo. Lorenzo and I have known each other for quite some time, and I even helped him to install the harpsichord, which was built in the United States and travelled halfway around the world to Western Australia. And I was the lucky one who got to hear him play it for the first time once we installed it in his house here in Perth. But Lorenzo, just very briefly, music obviously is one of those things that can really help us to clear our head, if it's the right sort of music. And just tell us a little bit about how your personal experience of the vibrational effect, how music has helped you to, obviously you have to learn how to play the instrument. It can be quite mental, but at some point I'm sure you just let that all go and you're just left with a feeling, whether you know anything about music or not.
Yeah, actually what I'd say is, I mean, I've been studying since I was a child, initially piano, and then I sort of specialized in harpsichord. But what happened after I started meditating was actually I gained really good focus. I think before I started properly meditating, I don't think I really was a very good practicer. But then when I was regularly meditating, I just had this really good focus, and I suddenly realized what real practice was. And it also just gave me a deeper understanding, because I wasn't clouded by all of this mental chatter. And then the music, so it was sort of a two-way thing. And the music, depending on the music, like you say, helped me even better to achieve that state where I'm not thinking. So, yeah.
Wow, that's such a good point. That we're all, some of us are musicians, some of us are engineers like Tyrone, working in the arts, working in fields like translation, which is one of the many things that Leah has in her portfolio. I also have many things in my portfolio, and we can consistently say that regardless of what you do, you might be a musician, you might be an astronaut, you might be a chartered accountant, but whatever we do, we find that the meditation makes such a difference. You could be a student. Lorenzo is sort of alluding to the fact there that when we're in thoughtless awareness, actually we become much more receptive to the world around us, to reality, and we're not distracted by thoughts about the past or about the future. So as you go along with the meditation, it feels good when you do it, but also, as I mentioned earlier, the benefits can be quite profound and in fact quite transformational, in that you become a different person. So it's not like you suddenly look different or whatever, but gradually and subtly you realize that you let go of things which have not been helpful to you, and you embrace this new experience that really makes life better. And Lorenzo was a very good example of how that can happen in practice.
Yes, absolutely. And on that note, I'd like to add that, for example, as a translator and meditator, I found that once I started meditating, once I had the Kundalini awakening and started having this vibrational awareness, feeling this coolness or certain pins and needle sensations in the hand, that also helped me to then balance, my left and right channel, as we have done in the first 3 days of the meditation. And yesterday, Chris was taking us through the left and right channel. And particularly, I find that classical music, also classical Indian music, really resonates with our chakras, our wheels of energies within us. And I find even whilst I'm translating, if I'm just listening to beautiful music like Lorenzo just played, classical music like Bach, and also classical Indian music, I can switch off from the outside world and I'm just there in the present, enthralled in that translation without any thoughts, in complete thoughtless awareness. So yeah, it's quite amazing. And what about you, Tyrone? How do you feel, the meditation helps you, say, for example, with your work and family life balance?
Of course, yeah, the meditation does help you just realize that a lot of the thoughts we have aren't useful and aren't helping us. And so now we can let them go, because normally we're just thinking all the time. I guess getting back to the topic of vibrational awareness, I'd also say that meditation just generally helps you appreciate art, any form of art, more deeply. I would definitely not call myself an art buff, and a lot of people that practice Sahaja Yoga, may not, really consider themselves to be deeply knowledgeable of art. But we can just seem to appreciate, we just get more out of it, that by thinking less, we seem to be able to enjoy, well, I guess, nature as well, but enjoy art more. Yeah, did you find also, Lorenzo, that when you started meditating that you generally were able to enjoy music more as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think I had, so as I said, like a deeper understanding, but a much more subtle understanding too, without necessarily that, without having the thoughts or that intellectual kind of, behind it. And just even art, I was just much more sensitive to just anything sort of artistic.
Also, Lorenzo, on that note, do you think you could maybe highlight a little bit for, the meditators that are currently with us online right now, about the second chakra, the Swadhisthana, what is its qualities and what it does, for example, in terms of creativity?
Yeah, so that second chakra, the Swadhisthana, is the center of creativity, like Leah said. And, certain things can block that. So too much thinking, actually. We might think that, thinking comes just from the brain and from the head. But on a subtle level, certain chakras actually, or if there are, if there's too much thinking, other chakras in the body, not just the sort of the Agya chakra, this chakra here, but other chakras in the body, like the Swadhisthana, especially on the right side, can be a cause for just overthinking. So when this chakra starts to unblock with the aid of the Kundalini and Sahaja Yoga, we get in touch much more with our own creativity, because that is the center of creativity, and too much thinking actually blocks creativity. So so just with regular meditation, you can help this chakra just to open up more, and that will in turn just help your creativity.
And
Because
just on that point there, we're going to mention tonight a technique that we're going to be doing in the next few days, and this topic of the second chakra is a good lead into that, because what we're going to be doing in the days to come is something we call a foot soak. And for those who don't know, using the elements is a very useful way to clear the subtle system. And a foot soak, as the name implies, is really just where we put our feet into some water. And if we're doing this at home, we would get some cool water in a basin and just put in some salt, some regular, ordinary handful of salt. And so I'm going to bring up a chart here. There we are. So you can see our friend there with his feet in a plastic basin, which has just got the cool water and some salt. And really, we just sit while we're having our meditation with our feet in the water. And what the water and the salt do is they're particularly useful for clearing the first and the second chakra and the third chakra. So the bottom three chakras. The Swadhisthana, the second chakra that Lorenzo was referring to, is the chakra which is the source of our sort of creativity, and when it's overused, quite commonly just from overthinking, it can get blocked. So using the foot soak is a very, very good way to help us to clear that bottom chakra. And clearing that chakra in turns helps us to be in thoughtless awareness. Because if those chakras are blocked, then our attention is very unsettled. And so we need to always try and focus on keeping that clear. So there we are with the basin, we've got the salt there, some paper towel and some rinsing water. So we'll go into more detail about this over the next few days. But in the meantime, if you'd like to see if you've got a basin and some salt and some water, and the way it works is that the salt goes in the water. When we finish, we take our feet out, we rinse our feet with fresh water, and then just wipe them off with paper towel. And then we dispose of that water into the toilet, for example, if you're at home, and wash our hands afterwards. And we normally wouldn't sit with our feet in the water for much more than about 10 minutes. So we can meditate for as long as we like. The foot soak is something that we just do for about 10 minutes or so at a time. We can also use natural sources of water. So if you happen to be near the ocean or a river, anything like that, then going there, being amongst the nature and having a meditation with your feet in the water is also a wonderful thing to do to help clear your solar system. And as I said, particularly bottom three chakras and the right channel, which is the side of action. So it's really quite simple. Don't get too confused about all of that, because it's going to be covered again over the next few days. And we'll actually be doing a foot soak as part of one of our sessions coming up. Yes. So I know we're going to be hearing another piece from Lorenzo to take us out as we wind up tonight's session. So I'm just jumping in here just to say that very shortly now, Lorenzo is going to be playing a short piece by the composer that I'm sure everybody knows, Johann Sebastian Bach. And I'm sure Lorenzo could talk for hours on the topic of Bach. But maybe, Lorenzo, you can just introduce the piece that you're going to play. But before we do that, I'll just hand back over to our hosts for tonight to wrap up before we go out with Lorenzo.
Fantastic.
Leah, Tyrone, anything we've missed?
Tyrone, did you? All right. Maybe Taron, if you just like to let everyone know what's our topic for tomorrow.
Yeah, so tomorrow we're going to be discussing more about the affirmations and maybe some mantras. Depends on how the presenter's feeling tomorrow. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I'll be back also as one of the hosts. So I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. I don't know if now's a good time to talk about the online resources.
Yes, good idea.
Yeah. So our tech team maybe can take us to the website. So you can see there's the buttons you've used to join the link. So you're probably familiar with this page already, which is freemeditation.com.au, and then you go to streaming and classes, and you go Feb 2022. Scroll down, you find where we are now. And now if you scroll a bit further down past these, you've got joining our WhatsApp group. Just there, if you haven't already, that just gives you some reminders and bits of info just about this course as we're going, just to keep you connected with what's going on over these 21 days. And then if we scroll down further, we've got our written resources. If you like, we've got, yep, there we go, under resources. So there's some handouts that has the affirmations for meditating on your own. For example, Richard was going through these affirmations. There they all are on that handout. And there's also some music there, some of the music that we've been playing in the course, and a few other things for you to check out. And we'll be adding to that as we go through. Also, yeah, the glossary of terms is probably a good one too. Sometimes there's words that we bandy about, and we take for granted that the meaning that we use in Sahaja Yoga is what you're thinking of. So maybe if you have time, you can have a look at that glossary of terms.
And there's also pictures of Srimataji there that you can
Yes.
download and print and put it on a little frame so that you can meditate at home, like this lovely picture here that you can see. So all the resources you need to become a full bottle Sahaja Yogi, it's all there, available, just a click away.
I think that somewhere there's a point there with I think there's 6 or 7 photos you can choose from.
Yes.
In there somewhere.
Yes, there is. I had a look before. So
Yeah.
if you look in the resources, you'll be able to find, it'll be
Yeah.
under photos of Srimataji.
Yeah. If not, let us know. Oh, we might
Yes,
not-
you can always tell us on, you tell
Yeah,
us on
we might double
WhatsApp.
check it. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great, thank you to the tech team. And well, perhaps, we can't wait. We're very eager to listen to the piece that Lorenzo is going to present us with. And so before we do that, we'd like to thank you all for joining us tonight. Please do stay for the music. And there will be, even after Lorenzo, there'll also be some other lovely music and slides showing. So you're welcome to stay and meditate, for the next 15 minutes or so. And we look forward to see you again tomorrow. But before we go to Lorenzo, Richard, would you kindly take us through raising the Kundalini and putting a protection so we can all wrap it up together?
Yes. And before we do, I'd just like to say once again, thank you to Lorenzo for joining us tonight and for the piece he's going to play coming up. So we're going to finish by, as we normally do, by using our hands once more to raise our Kundalini and give ourselves a bandhan or band of protection. So most of you will have done this. If you haven't, it's very simple. We rotate our right hand around our left hand like this. You see that? And we start right at the bottom, and we're going to bring our hands up while we do that and tie a knot above our head. And we're actually using our hands to raise our Kundalini. It responds to our hands. So we do this a second time, coming up and then tying 2 knots above our head. And then we do it a third time. So starting right at the bottom of the spine, coming up, and third time we tie 3 knots. We do it 3 times because we have 3 major channels within us, left, right, and center. And this helps to establish our attention here above the head. The second part is that we give ourselves a bandhan or band of protection. And what we do is we bring our right hand across to our left hip, and we simply sweep our right hand across the top of our head and down the other side, and then back. And we do that 7 times because we have these 7 chakras, there and back. You can do this in your own time. You can just mirror me because I'm in mirror mode, as they say. Right hand coming across, down the other side, back. Very relaxed, but very deliberate, because we are actually moving the energy and covering our auras when we do this. And when you've done that 7 times, thereabouts, and just bring your hands once more, sit comfortably, palms facing upwards, attention just resting above the head, and in thoughtless awareness while we enjoy this next piece of beautiful music, and then some more music thereafter, for as long as you care to stay with us. So thanks again, everyone. Over to you, Lorenzo, with Bach.
I won't speak too much about this piece. I tend to waffle on, as Richard kindly put it, when it comes to music. It's just a slow movement, a sarabande from one of his English suites.